happy. Came home from work, opened the door, you know, when you open the door you push the letters, look down, there it was. So I've received my yeast, the Kveik yeast from Norway, the real fucking McCoy farmhouse strain directly from the source, etc, etc. So the guy that runs the Facebook group, the guy that distributes the yeasts, I'm going to go with Sven. I don't know how you pronounce it, I'm sorry. I'm going to go with Sven. He sent me a message, and he actually sent a message out to everyone in the group just to say sorry. Something happened in the local depot where he drops off all the yeasts. So the poor guy had to resend all of them out again. Must have cost him a fortune. He sends to everyone in the world, by the way. I'll put a link down below to the group. Anyway, yeah, so about a week and a half turned up. This is what I've got. Little yeasts. I know what you're thinking. Should have prepared this. You're thinking, oh yeah, like I was thinking, must be about that size, right? This is a normal sort of vial, 20 centilitres. Okay, that is the size. 2 millilitres. And the actual yeast in there was about the size of like a raisin currant, half a hot pellet, you know. It's tiny bit of yeast, and naturally, like everyone, I was like, shit, that costs 15 quid each. You know, it's proper fucking farmhouse Kveik yeast, come all the way over from Norway. I don't want to fuck this up, do I? So what Sven recommended was to put it into a 200 milliliter starter. Did that. Actually went with 250 milliliters. A few days later, 2 days later. By the way, I did that at 39 degrees. That fridge was hot. But I wanted to do it properly. 39 degrees is the temperature this needs to be at. So I made the starter, and I ended up with two little tubes like that, little vials. There. I'm doing that. I think I've got pictures, I don't know. I think I do. And it, you know, it looks like I had loads of yeast, and I asked the people in the Facebook group, do I just chuck it all in or split it into vials? What shall I do here? They all recommended underpitching. If you want the flavour on these yeast, you've got to underpitch. It works better when it's underpitched. So, like I said, I've got a little vial like this, and I've got a second one, and there's hardly anything in that second one. So I'm worried now. I'm now in my head thinking, should I just chuck them both in? But I don't want to mess it up. I don't want to screw this up, basically. So I'm gonna save the other one. The other one's got like half of that. It's got about 2 milliliters in there, which, you know, that is that really. So it's loads. So what I can do is pop that in a yeast starter and regrow that. I'll pop those into little vials so that I've got some for backup for later, for keeps. This stuff apparently you can keep in the fridge for like a year. You can freeze it and keep it in your freezer. No, you can dry it and keep it in your freezer for 20 years. So, you know, this yeast is going to last me forever, isn't it? But the initial sample that I've got to make sure I do it properly. So I'm going to take a gamble with this one. Oh yeah, I've got them both here, look. So you see what I'm on about. That there is about 3.5 milliliters, and that is like 2 milliliters. I'm doing a half batch, by the way, so it should be alright. Everyone recommends do 5 milliliters for 23 litre batch. This is an 11 litre batch, so in theory 2.5 milliliters should be fine. And I'm gonna whack in maybe 3.5, 4. I know I'm worried about nothing, but it's just, you know, you just never know with fucking yeast. Gotta do this properly. So anyway, that's the yeast. I've actually done 2 brews today. It's double brew day. No footage because it's boring. You've all seen them all before. I've run out of music to use. I've run out of fucking ways of showing you that. It's just there's nothing you can show, is there? It's fucking boring. I do like playing about with it though and filming it and stuff, but I don't know. Right, so the first brew that I made today is a stout. I'm not going to go through the recipe. It's the Bible recipe. I had some Bramling Cross down there that needed using up, so it's a Bramling Cross stout. And you're thinking, it's fucking June soon. What you want pale ales and New England IPAs? Why are you brewing a stout? I don't know. I do know why. The reason is I've got my nitro. Finally, I was supposed to get it back in like Feb. Finally got some nitro. I've got a little 2 litre, or was it 2 kilograms? I don't know. Of 70-30, 70 nitrous, 30 CO2 mixed gas. And I already bought the regulator and all that ages ago. I already brewed a stout that was supposed to play about with that. So now this is literally a stout, so I can play about with that. I'm not going to film it because I don't know what I'm doing. You don't want to learn from someone who hasn't got a fucking clue. I'm just going to be messaging Robbie, what PSI, you know. So I'll show you guys that another time when I understand it. Basically it's going to be a stout like in the pub. Which that doesn't sound good, does it? Because Guinness in the pub is shit. But back in the day when we used to like Guinness, you get it nice and creamy, and that's I want my stouts like that. Second brew that I'm doing is basically the exact same recipe I did last week, but I'm using the Kveik yeast, number 1, the Jernes, which is commonly known as the Voss yeast, which interestingly the aroma is different to Framgarden. I'm noticing that straight away from the yeast. It's sweeter, and when you read the characteristics, you're supposed to get orange peel and this that. Half of you watching this already know all this and have already used it, but I'm quite excited about this. as you can probably tell. I do have 4 Kveik yeasts. No, I got 5 now because I got John's one, but I got 4 from Sven. I got number 1 Jernes. Can't remember the numbers. I got the Ebergarden, the Hornedal, and the Mitbust. I don't know if I pronounce those properly. It doesn't matter. Bought the first 3 because they tend to be the ones that get commercialized. So I thought go with those. And the other one, the Mitbust, apparently that's good for English ales. I read that somewhere in a forum or something on a Facebook group. So that's my logic behind buying those 4. And it's only now, like 6-7 weeks later, I'm reading about other strains. So I do want some more, but I'm going to be sensible and play about with these 4. I'm going to harvest the shit out of them. I'm going to get jars, slurries for all of them. I'm going to put as many as I can into little vials. I bought 50 of these vials. So I'm going to put as many in there as I can. And I'm going to dry it as well, and it's the dry stuff that I want to exchange with people because I think it's better that way. It's easier to ship, etc. And it's easy for them to pitch. You just chuck it in. So yeah, and actually on the subject of exchanging yeasts, Colin today, link down below to Colin's video. He just set up a yeast exchange group. So just been set up today, a few hours ago as I'm talking. So that's pretty cool. I'm gonna get in on that. I'm gonna hopefully some people on there have got the Kveiks that I got my eyes on. Or if not, I just whatever they've got. I don't know. There's so many of the bloody things. There's so many of them, and of course, you just want to try them all, don't you? Just to see which is the best one and what you can get out of it, etc. It's pretty cool. It's exciting days. the home brewing is developing now. I've actually not used dry yeast in about 6 months. And anyone who watches my videos know normally I'm like, rip it open, chuck it in, don't mess about with yeast. Now this year I'm a changed man. I've turned full on yeast geek. This Kveik yeast, I've just read every blog, everything I could find basically on Kveik yeast. In theory, I like to say I know everything about Kveik yeast, but in practice I don't know fuck all, do I? So I don't want to share my knowledge that I've learnt so far until I actually know what I'm talking about, because I know how people watch these videos. I do it myself. Someone says something, you go and copy it. Little do you know that that's the wrong information. Damn it, I'm on to 11 minutes already. God's sakes. I haven't even spoke about this yet. So this is my previous beers. Okay, so let's start off with that one. That is the Kveik Experiment Beer number 1, which is John's Framgarden yeast. That, everyone that already knows about Framgarden yeast, it ferments so fast, and it was that clear. Can you see that? It was like that after 3-4 days. 3-4 days. It was so clear. I think I brewed it Saturday, kegged it Wednesday, and it was like that Friday, pretty much. And the weird thing about this one, the initial taste, I preferred the initial taste of how it tastes now. Initially, it started tasting like a Kolsch. When you read the recipe, yeah, it's got 90% pale, 10% carapils. Yeah, that is a Kolsch, isn't it? But it wasn't supposed to be. It was supposed to be a pale ale. I put quite a lot of citra in there. And initially, the Kveik yeast was dominating the flavour. I better be quick. Initially it was dominating the flavour and it tasted like a Kolsch, and then the next day it changed, and then the day after, now it tastes like Citra. Citra with hints of lemon, which is the yeast. It's really cool, really, you know, you guys aren't really gonna taste what I'm tasting, but I'm gonna go through this. I'm gonna brew the same damn recipe for every single yeast, just so I can know the difference. I have bottled, because I've almost drank this. It's only a 9 litre keg, so I've almost drank it all now, but I did bottle a couple, which I will save for one video one day when I taste them all, maybe. I don't know if I want to bore you with that, but I might do. And this is beer number 2 that I brewed last video. This is the mild. And the problem with this beer, though it is getting better, I only kegged it a few days ago. Problem with this beer is it was supposed to be 3.5%, and it's 5%. What I did is I did beer on beer on the yeast cake. The ESB was finished at 10.20, so I was hoping, you know, maybe it'd go to 10.15 or something. Best case. It got down to 10.10. Too far, went too far, ended up at 5%. And the beer itself, it's I knew this as I was making the video last time. I can't believe I'm into the 14th minute, but I'm going to ramble on. I knew it as I was making the video. I knew already what the faults would be, and they are exactly what I predicted. Too astringent. I wish I didn't put Carafa 3 in there. I wish, in hindsight, I steeped the dark malts and put them in like you do with a black IPA. I don't know why I wasn't thinking that through at the time. So it's got that astringency to it, and it's like a thin-bodied stout. So obviously it doesn't have the flake barley. and it's not really. It's quite licoricey as well, a bit weird. It's not really a mild. It is. I don't know what it is. I don't know what I've brewed. Not that happy with it. I think I'm just gonna keep on drinking it until this stout that I brewed today is ready, and I'm probably just gonna ditch it and replace it with the stout. So there you go. I will go into more depth on the yeast on another video, but I've already rambled on way too long. So cheers everyone.